I'm Dr. Lisa Burkhart Worley along with Renee Rollins, and welcome to Pop Talk. We're the program where you never know what topics might pop up. Have you ever thought that you were too young to do something important? Maybe you think life has passed you by and you're not even trying because you're too old, or so you think. Let me tell you a few things. In the Bible, the prophet Jeremiah thought he was too young, and God told him he wasn't. Moses didn't even start his ministry until he was 80 years old. So don't let anyone tell you that you're too young or you're too old. Our guest today is a young person who is making her mark in the film industry, and Renee will introduce her.
Thanks, Lisa. Our guest is filmmaker Lauren Havel. She's under 20 years of age and already making an impact on her generation. She is the producer, director, and cinematographer of the video-on-demand movie The Ground Beneath Our Feet. It is her third feature film. Her other two are called Screened In and Not Broken. Welcome to Pop Talk, Lauren. Tell us how and when you first came to actually realize that you wanted to be a filmmaker. How did it all come about?
Yeah, so when I was just 13 years old, I went to a film camp. I lived on a remote island in the Pacific Northwest. There was a film camp there, and I fell in love with the craft of filmmaking from day one. I remember just going home and wanting to look up everything I possibly could about the craft and just got into it that way. It was it was truly an incredible introduction to filmmaking. And then, like any other kid who is into filmmaking, I started making little skits with my friends and just playing around. And eventually, I started realizing the power of filmmaking in the movies that I was watching myself. And I decided that I was going to use filmmaking for a purpose. And that is where my first short film came about, was just that decision to use filmmaking for the Lord and knowing that he can use it in mighty ways.
That's beautiful, Lauren. We need more people like you. So I believe that you were destined for the media and the filmmaking world. You knew it at an early age, and I remember I was doing interviews with people on a tape recorder when I was in junior high, and so you are the youngest filmmaker on record to direct, shoot, and edit three professionally distributed feature films. That is amazing. You earned the Young Filmmaker Award at the 2021 Christian Worldview Film Festival for your second feature, Not Broken. So, have you had any training, Lauren? Is there a filmmaker who inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't have any training besides going online and watching YouTube videos and reading a whole bunch of books, and just learning that way. I also did like an online film academy called Tomorrow's Filmmakers. And there definitely were filmmakers who inspired me, particularly the Irwin brothers and the Kendrick brothers. I feel like they have done amazing things in Christian filmmaking. And those were the films that just truly showed me how powerful filmmaking could be. And I remember being wanting to be just like them.
No kidding, you're right. There is so much right now that is happening in Christian film that is so powerful, isn't it? Gosh, well, I want to talk about your recent film, The Ground Beneath Our Feet. Hey, tell us a little bit about the storyline. I know people are super interested.
Yeah, so The Ground Beneath Her Feet basically jumps back and forth between the 1950s and today. It's basically a story about what happens to a nation that turns its back on God, which definitely has happened to us. We've definitely taken the Lord out of the public square. And so it's a message of look at what's happened, but it's also a message of hope and that there's always going to be hope for the future no matter what.
Yeah, the Bible talks about this. Good will be called bad and bad will be called good. And that's what I'm seeing in today's culture. So I kind of know why you decided to make this film, but can you expand on that? And is there a little bit of your story in the movie, or was this totally from your imagination?
Yeah, so the crazy thing about this film is it actually came to my mom in a vision when I was very young. I hadn't even done my first feature film, and she'd never had anything like this happen to her ever in her life. And it was like the Lord just put the whole story into her mind one day. She was sitting on the porch, and we were like, oh my goodness, this is an incredible story, but we didn't have the resources at the time. I hadn't made a feature film. And so we kind of put it on the back burner for a very long time, for years, did two feature films. And then we moved to Idaho, and the Lord put it back on my mom's heart. And she was like, well, our resources have opened up a little bit more. We know more people. We're in a bigger place. And so we decided to just dive into it. So that's really how the story came to be.
That is powerful. Lauren, gosh, my mom has had such an impact on my life in worship music. And I know what it is to have the blessing of your mother. And my mom also has dreams and visions. And there's some things that have come to pass. So I think that is just dreams are from the Lord, and we see that all through the Bible, don't we? You
Yeah.
know, it's powerful. So I believe God's hand is just going to be on this film because of the anointing that was poured out in the beginning of it, right? I was thinking that we're bombarded all the time with notifications, social media, text, and one of the things that I love about this film in particular because of your age is the underlying theme of the story. That what we're missing as a culture cannot be created by noise or technology or progress. Sometimes it is found in the stillness and in the humility and the rediscovery of faith itself. So, how did you come to that conclusion yourself?
Yeah, well, living on an island for 7.5 years as a young girl, I had very few friends. I was very, didn't have a lot of technology around me. And so I truly learned that the greatest way to get to know the Lord is just to be in the Word and to be in prayer and to just sit with Him. And I definitely feel like technology and all those things have distracted us as a culture. We're very fast-paced, we're moving quick, and it's such an important thing to slow down and to take that time to be quiet and to be in the Word and be with the Lord. Because the only way we can know what He's saying is to sit there with Him and to listen.
Okay, so before I get to the question I've written down, you've got to tell us more about living on an island for the first 7 years of your life. Yeah, Renee here she was born in Hawaii, so I don't know what island you were on. How did you end up on an island? I got to know this. And what was the
Yeah,
meaning or what was the reason? Were you missionaries? Tell us about that.
yeah. So I lived, let's see, it was, I think between the ages of, it was about like 10, maybe 8, something around there when we moved there. And then I moved away when I was 17. So basically, we were there. Well, it's an island in Washington, so San Juan Island. And honestly, it was a wonderful place to live, but we really did feel like missionaries. It's definitely a darker place. But it also gave me such wonderful opportunities to make those first films. I honestly do not believe I would have been able to do it anywhere else because it is a smaller artistic community. And so people really jumped on board with making the films. And it was such a gift to live in a small community like that for those films.
Very cool. Well, it takes a village, right? You could get everybody to jump on the project and help out. So this movie, though, that we're talking about, has been out since January. How has it done? Where can people see it? And what has been the feedback so far on the movie?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I feel like it's done amazingly well. We've been very, very grateful. People have been telling us how much they love it, how much it impacted them, and mostly the conversations that it starts. It's definitely a film that is a conversation starter. So we love it when youth groups have gone to watch it and like people have watched it together. Right now, I believe it's on probably Amazon Prime, YouTube, different platforms like that. And you can also find all of the information on my website as well.
So, we want to touch on your other two films, Screened In as one of those, and Not Broken. So let's start with Screened In. That is an interesting title because it makes me think about someone that is trapped. But what is it really about, and where can people view it?
Yeah, so Screened In is basically about four girls who decide to go on a digital detox because they realize how much the screens are distracting them and taking away from them real life. Um, so that's what it's about. It was made when I think I was about 15 at the time when we made that one. And it was so much fun. I'm actually in that one.
That's
So
what I was going to ask you. You were in it then, right?
yes, I'm in it. So I was filming it and acting at the same time, which is crazy. And honestly, I hope to never do that again. But I
Now,
did.
where can they see it, Lauren? If people want to see this, I'm sure they do. Where would they go? What platform?
Yes, so Screened In is on both Amazon and YouTube.
Perfect. Great.
That's amazing. So let me ask you your personal opinion about this. Do you think people your age, even I think our age, I'm always like checking my phone. Do we just spend way too much time on social media, you think? And is that something that you want to take on as, just to help other people your age to get off of the social media at times?
Oh, totally. I mean, my goodness, when I first got my computer, I remember it was like so distracting to have like filmmaking, but also have these social media apps just constantly pulling me in. And then the problem with it is you spend 5 minutes and all of a sudden an hour has gone by. You don't expect it to take up so much of your life, but it really does. So it's definitely a goal of mine to help people, get off the screen and go live real life.
Yeah, I actually am not on social media that much. It looks like I'm always on Facebook because I don't log out because I don't remember my password, and so I just stay logged in. But I'm definitely, not necessarily looking at it that much, except maybe when I'm in a car ride or something, or I have to use it to post things for our ministry, but I don't scroll like some people do. But I think we can get just overwhelmed with it and spend too much time in it when we can be doing other things. Let's talk about your other film that we discussed, Not Broken. When I look at that title, I think about how God heals our own brokenness when we've been through a difficult stretch. So I just guessed that. So what's the theme of the movie?
Yes. Not Broken is about a dyslexic girl who is trying to find her purpose in life. My whole entire family is dyslexic, so that one is very much based off of all our life stories kind of combined. So it's fully pulling from real life. And it's really a meaningful film to me because it's about just being artistic and getting through the struggles of maybe being different than a lot of people. And so that was really a gift to be able to put together and see how it impacted people.
Let me ask you a personal question here. What was it like for you growing up dyslexic? I know I had a cousin who's dyslexic, and sometimes people think you're not smart, but you are really smart generally. It's just that you get things switched around, your numbers and your letters and things like that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, for me, it's definitely the numbers. So I'm horrible at math. But it really, I think the hardest thing was seeing my brother struggle with it because he had more of the reading, writing kind of struggle. Um, and he honestly, I think he first learned to read upside down, which was pretty crazy. And that's in the film as well. It's definitely a struggle because people see you as, being different and maybe that thought of, oh, they must not be quite as smart. But in reality, I feel like dyslexia is such a gift because it does make people more artistic, more creative. We're all very right-brained. In fact, I'm actually in a documentary called The Dyslexic Advantage, because I do believe dyslexia is an advantage.
Lauren, we know you probably have a story about why you decided to step into faith-based films. What is your personal story of finding Jesus as your Savior? And can you speak a little bit about how your mom also in that process has discipled you and helped you?
Yes, so I was raised in a Christian home, and that has been such an absolute gift to me. I can't remember a time in my life when I did not know and love the Lord. He has been with me every step of the way. In through the hardest of times, through the greatest of times. And oh my goodness, it has been so incredible to have my mom beside me through the filmmaking, through well, she homeschooled us as well. So she would read the Bible to us every morning. She would read all these great classics. And so it's just been so incredible to have a mom who is so supportive and so strong in her faith. And I truly look up to her. So yeah, being raised in a Christian home, being in the Word every day, my personal relationship with the Lord has just been grown in so many different ways through.
You know, there's probably somebody that's listening right now, and they may have a teenager with them or a person in their 20s who has dreamed of that. And I think a lot of times what the enemy does to us is he puts fame in front of, you know, how what the Lord has called us to do. And immediately, I think, especially when we have a dream, the enemy immediately wants to pull us to a, boy, you really want this to blow up. You want to be famous, but really, you want to make the Lord famous. So I want to give you an opportunity for just a moment to speak directly to someone, hey, whether they're 17 or 70, that they have a dream right now. What would you say to them? Because you are really living the dream, Lauren.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like I would just say that, I mean, if the Lord puts a calling on your life, it's there for a purpose and he will use you and he will carry you into that. And I do want to touch on like the part of like wanting the fame. There was definitely a time when I was young, starting out in filmmaking, where I was like, oh my goodness, like I want my stuff to get millions of views, or I want to have movies in theaters, and that was like a big thing for me. But what I realized is even if one person watches one of my films and comes to know the Lord through it, that is completely worth it to me. Because yes, you can impact so many people through filmmaking, but it's the individual transformations in people's lives that mean the most to me.
That is so true.
I love that, Lauren. And, you know, even though you're in it for the Lord, you're still a role model. I remember years ago when Charles Barkley, the NBA basketball player, said, "I'm not your kid's role model." I said, "Yes, you are. God has given you this national platform." And so for you, he's given you a national platform to represent him well as an ambassador in the workplace. So how seriously do you take this whole thing of being a role model for young people your age?
Oh my goodness, I take it so seriously. It's been such a gift to be able to be a role model for others. It's definitely, you feel the responsibility of wanting to um, be a proper example to other people. But it's definitely it's been such a gift, and the Lord has enabled me in so many ways to be able to do it.
I think it's powerful, first of all, what you're doing, but I believe that the Lord is ordering your steps. And I think sometimes what happens in our life is that we get ahead of ourselves, and we see something out there when the Lord's just calling us to be obedient to today and to be strong in his spirit and to walk in his spirit. So talk about that, Lauren. When you're creating a film and you're there in that creative process, in that moment, how do you speak to the Lord? What's the process?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things is every time we're on set, we do start the day in prayer because with prayer without going to the Lord, I feel like everything will fall apart. He is
Absolutely.
he is the reason that everything does go smoothly, and he just helps every problem be resolved. So for me, it really has come down to just starting every day with the Lord. and just asking him for direction and taking things one day at a time. I feel like a lot of the time, as you said, we can get ahead of ourselves. And just to slow down and be like, Lord, what do you want me to do right here in this moment? And how can I glorify you?
That's powerful.
Yeah, it is. Lauren, what is your favorite part about filmmaking? I know when I do documentary films and I love producing, I like writing. That's my thing. But I also like the editing process, even though I'm not the one actually pushing the buttons. There's just something about being a symphony conductor or something that you're just choosing like what goes here and what goes there and what music fits best here. So, what is your favorite part as you put a film together?
I think my favorite part is the cinematography. I am very visual, I'm very artistic, so I love, getting the lighting just perfect and all of that. And also I just love being on set because I love being around people. Which is funny because for a very long time I was very introverted and very shy. So they kind of went against each other. But I know, I love being on set and just creating the visuals of the story. And I love editing as well, but I definitely find that to be a little harder because I am such a perfectionist.
Yeah, editing's not easy. That's why I have to hire somebody to do it for me. I don't want to even try it. So, what is next for you? I know the mind of a filmmaker because, as I said, I do some documentary films. And when you're a filmmaker, you're always thinking about what's the next project. So, what are you thinking about, Lauren? What do you want to do?
Yeah, well, my mom is actually working on a screenplay right now that we're hoping to pitch to investors or to studios who'd be interested in it. So we'll see where the Lord takes us. I'm very much been a one step at a time, one project at a time, right? Where the Lord is, calling me into my whole life. So it's exciting to just wait on the Lord and see what He'll do.
I know God is always so faithful, isn't he? And that's the thing is I see the anointing of the Lord on you and I can see how you have connected so well even with your mom in this process. And I'm excited about that screenplay because God is doing amazing things right now in your life and I know that this film is one of them. It's just powerful. It's a powerful testimony to the fact that we really need to understand what's happening before it's too late, right? Before it's too late, Lauren.
Yes. And you talked a lot about your mom and her involvement in your projects. Did your mom have any background in this either, or filmmaking or writing, or what drew her to it?
She has always been extremely creative. I remember when I was young, she was writing a children's book, which never got finished. But I feel like when I asked her to write my screenplays to help me, she just jumped right in because she always has loved writing.
Well, Lauren, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing about your films. And Lauren's most recent work is The Ground Beneath Our Feet. The movie's on Amazon Rent or Buy, Apple TV, Google Play, Amazon DVD, or AVOD, where you'll watch the movie with ads on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Encourage TV, and Roku. You have no excuse. You've got to watch her movie. It's out there everywhere. And if you want to reach out to Lauren, she has a website. It is laurengracefilms.com. Lauren spelled Lauren, gracefilms.com. You can also talk to her publicist, Melissa Anschultz. Her email is mel at onepulsemarketing.com. Mel at onepulsemarketing.com.
And we would love for you to connect with us here at Pop Talk and Pearls of Promise. You can email us at info@pearlsofpromiseministries.com. You can like us on Facebook and you can follow us on X at Pop Talk Media or at Pearls of Promise. We're on Instagram at pop_ministries, X at Pop Talk Media. Check out our YouTube channel where you can watch all of our past Pop Talk award-winning television and radio shows, as well as our award-winning documentaries.
So that is our show for today. We're just ordinary girls.
Who God turned into pearls. Have a wonderful, blessed week, everybody.